Elevate and Evolve. If you're new here, my name is Asia, and this channel is all about growth, mindset, and just becoming a better version of yourself. So if you are interested in these topics, you might want to stick around. But today's topic, I did a poll on it on my Instagram, and this one won. The topic is the importance of self-love before dating. And I know it sounds cliche because I feel like that's a very common thing that people say, like, oh, you need to love yourself before you seek it from others. But it is true. And as humans, we crave affection, we crave intimacy, regardless of how we're feeling inside. We're not gonna turn that away if it's being brought to us. And especially if we're lacking that within ourselves, we're definitely going to seek it out from other people. But that's not always the answer. If you don't love yourself, why would you expect somebody else to love you? But we're gonna get into that. So for starters, I think it's very important that you learn how to appreciate, love, and understand yourself. If you don't know how to do those things, how are you going to teach a potential partner how to do those things? And if you get into a relationship like that, all of your insecurities are just going to mirror back at you. I've seen people, I've been in that boat where I would get into a relationship thinking that overall it would make me feel better. And of course it wouldn't. Like, sure, the validation would help for 5 minutes, but in the end, everything would just tumble down. It's like everything they did or didn't do felt like a reflection of me. For example, oh, they didn't text back, so they must not like me anymore. No, they're watching TV, they're eating dinner, they're minding their business, maybe they're in the shower. Everything is not personal. And when you actually have that mentality and sit there and always think like that, you're going to be miserable. Not only you, but your partner's probably going to be miserable as well. And to backtrack to understanding yourself, for example, if you're one of those people that when people ask you, what are your hobbies, what do you like to do, and you really just can't answer the question, you struggle to answer that question, that's probably telling that you should sit down and reflect and be like, hey, what do I enjoy doing on my own in my free time? I feel like when you can't answer that question, that's an immediate red flag to people. This person's probably very codependent. They're probably going to always need me around and need me to fulfill this void. And that's very draining to people. So once you learn to be comfortable with yourself, that is when you should start seeking other people. So I'm going to go through a checklist of things, and if you feel like any of these apply to you, then you should probably take a step back and work on self-love before trying to jump into a relationship. So number 1, constantly needing validation from your partner. To be straight to the point, nobody should have that power over you to be able to determine how you feel about yourself. If you can't sit there and be like, I'm beautiful, I'm handsome, I'm smart, and somebody else has to tell you those things, that's something that you need to work on within yourself. And on the other side, you shouldn't deal with the person that is telling you the opposite of those things anyways. Nobody should have that power over you. I'm gonna leave that one at that. Number 2, settling for less just so you're not alone. And I feel like that's a common one in this generation, especially with how popular social media is. All you see is relationship posts and people cheating and just drama. And I've heard people say oh, I feel like everybody in this generation cheats, so I'ma just deal with it. No, that's not true. Not everyone's the same, and you cannot categorize everyone based off of what you're seeing. Number 3, if you lose yourself in that relationship, if your whole life just revolves around them, you don't hang out with your friends anymore, you don't talk to them, you don't do anything, all you see is your partner, all you hang around is your partner, you literally have no life. Either they're toxic or you're probably draining them. So, and I feel like you see that a lot nowadays. 4, tolerating disrespect, which I feel ties back to number 2 of not feeling like you're going to find someone that's meant for you. And then lastly, anxiety when you're not constantly getting reassured, which I feel that one will tie back mostly to anxious attachment styles, which I may or may not get into in the future. But yeah, that also ties back to needing like external validation and like a sense of security from your partner. But the good news, you can work on this. Self-love is not about being perfect. It is about treating yourself the way that you want someone else to treat you. So here are some things, that you can focus on. Number 1, know yourself. Spend time alone. Figure out what you actually enjoy and what makes you happy outside of a relationship. Number 2, set boundaries. Learn to say no, protect your energy, and don't accept less than you deserve. Number 3, affirm yourself. Stop waiting for someone else to hype you up. Look in the mirror and remind yourself you are that person, you're that girl, you're whatever you want to be, you're that, you're it. And number 4, heal before you deal. If you have wounds from past relationships, childhood, or anything else, take the time to heal instead of carrying that into something new. When you begin to work on yourself and grow, not only do you start attracting better people, but you also just end up making better choices. So before you go chasing love, make sure you've built it within yourself first. Because when you love yourself, you don't settle, you don't beg, and you sure as hell don't tolerate BS. But now I want to hear from y'all. What's one thing that you do to practice self-love? Drop it in the comments. And if this video helped you, go ahead and like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And remember, love yourself first and everything else will fall into place. And until next time, protect your peace and prioritize your growth. Baby,